So, 10 years back, maybe I was 10, 12 years back, after graduating from my medical school, I've decided to take up the administrative service exams. So, as you all know, the administrative exam goes for a span of an year. The whole process of exam goes for a span of 1 year. And I was giving my first attempts. I'm not sure whether I would qualify into civil service or not. So by the time I'd given my second attempt, being a medical doctor, knowing about the fertility age of a woman, I have decided to have a baby too. So when they gave me a call for the interview, I was 5 months pregnant. I was 5 months pregnant because I was not sure I would get through the exams also. So I was pregnant, and by the time they took me to they had started publishing the rank list. What I had understood was because I was pregnant, I was kept medically unfit. So it goes to the old time rules, which feels that a physiological process in a woman, which is pregnancy, would keep a woman unfit from getting into something like an administrative services. So I had to wait till I gave birth to a baby. And after 40 days, they made a examination for me again and they took me into service. Second, I reached the academy where I go to the room of one of my coordinator. Having seen a probationer, that is what we call the officers who are under probation, having seen a probationer maybe first time in her life with a baby who is coming to do her course at academy. So she asked me, how planned are you in life? Don't you make plans in life? So I think having come from a very rural background and having gone to a medical school too, I was like I made good plans in life because I made plans to do my medical degree. I made plans to write the civil service exam. I made plans to crack it. I made plans to have a baby on time. So I just didn't understand what she was asking me. But then I gave a meek smile and I came back. Now they tried to talk me out to leave my baby home and then do my course there. But I had a batchmate of mine from Kerala. So, a batchmate of mine who had a baby in the same time. So, he had a baby at the same time. There's another friend who's now in Bengal, and my husband and me, we decided if his child has a right to be breastfed, my child did have a right to be breastfed. So, we decided to stay back with the baby at 6,000 feet, and I completed my course. I completed my course without any hassles. And see, I'm here. So that's her. So, what had worked in my case? What had worked in my case was that at academy, if a lady probationer wants to come with a baby, you're supposed to allow that. You're supposed to legally allow that and make way for it. What was the second thing that was there in this picture? That's my mother. She was of help to me. I had support from my family. A neighbor of mine had volunteered to be the babysitter too. So we were a team there raising my child at 6,000 feet. And apart from me, the two others have not seen a winter at all. So they were all there and it helped me to complete the course. So in 1920s, when they had when they had listed the 12 most influential women of US, they had found that 12 of them didn't have children. I was trying to get the Indian versions too, but didn't have good statistical evidence to publish here. But after 100 years in 2020, when we sit, or in 2020s, what we see is we see a lot of strong women around us, be it Jacinda Ardern, or be it Mary Com or Sania Mirza. So many influential people among us, especially women, are doing their jobs or in fact excelling in their jobs while taking up their options of motherhood too. Now, recently, Jacinda Ardern was again in the news for having quit her post to take care of her other roles in life. Yes, we do many other roles in life. We do the role of, we have a role or we have an interest in bringing, in taking, or in excelling what we call in our family side, in excelling in our spiritual side, our vocation side, our hobby side, the career side, the spiritual side of it. Of course, our role as caregivers too. But what it means to have it all? How prepared are we for having it all? In future, what it looks like having it all? Can we have it all? That is also a question. Having it all or trying to balance everything out in life or juggling with a very fine balance would be required for three main categories if we want to balance and have it all. So it could be, say, your role as a mother, as a caregiver, as a breadwinner. These three roles, if we are trying to balance, most of us feel that we can move forward in having it all at a go. So, let's take the first case of a motherhood. The world over, the feministic movements have all contributed to everyone having a safe motherhood. Most of the countries have good maternity laws in place. We have got maternity benefits in place. We have got good healthcare support, good nutritional support for the women. So motherhood is more or less taken care of. In my case too, motherhood was taken care of. So that place doesn't stop a woman from, getting into a work. The second is the role of a breadwinner. With, even with the automations coming, with the other, be it in any blue collar, white collar jobs or in agriculture jobs, basically the skills that you require is some soft skills. You should have some rational thinking. You should also be having something like an intelligence or some handy skills with you. Everyone is capable of doing a breadwinner's job. So if you want to do it or not, but male and female, irrespective of gender, is capable of doing a breadwinner's job. But in the first case, in case of motherhood, as till today, only women can do that job. So this doesn't become a gender issue. Having it all is not very pertaining to one gender, the gender of women, no. It is a human issue. See, the third role is the most challenging one, which we have not defined well, the role of a caregiver. What is the role of a caregiver? Role of a caregiver could be raising up the early childhood days, early childhood education and care. It could be an ailing spouse, a geriatric parent, or it could be a relative who is in need, a friend who is in need. So the caregiver's job would vary. For different people, it would be different. But there should be someone to take care. So the caregiver's role is common to the male and female. So this human issue is not addressed much. Most people are kept out of their jobs or are not able to balance things because the side of caregiver's role is not being addressed by our systems. It's by ILO's data, it is estimated that around 205 million peoples in the 45 countries which they listed are into this caregiving roles. It could be a early childhood roles or care roles or other caregiving roles. In India, we have all seen that like 54% of our population is women, but only 24% of our population, our women population, are into some job roles. And the participation of women in the jobs have decreased in the past 10 years. This is a graph which is given by World Bank, and it is estimated that in the past 10 years, the participation of women in the workforce has come down. COVID has been a factor which has hit us all hard. 9% of the female workforce could not return back to work after COVID. And that is some percentage which is equal to a war-torn country. So why 9% could not come back, or one third of the women workforce could not come back to work? Why that was happening? Because with COVID coming, what has happened is the caregiving roles which they used to delegate was not available. Either they had closed down, as had become more expensive, or many could not reach to this. And that has led to, in the latest studies, it has also shown that 50% of the urban women in India, 50% of them don't step out of the house once in a month at least. When that is coming to 17% for the male population, 50% of the women don't step out of their house once a month. Why they don't step out of their house? Because they don't have a place to delegate this. The caregiving finally ends up to the marginalized races or to the women population it goes. So, how can we address this issue of caregiving? How can we more or less channelize it and recognize it as a problem, like how we have recognized motherhood? The care economy totally is one of the most fastly growing economic sectors in the world. More people, with the increase in lifespan, more people are in need of care. And in most of the countries, this thing has been delegated to the citizens. This is taken care of as a social measure. A few things are taken care of by the social department. In very few countries, Sweden is a very good example, which has got 4 years of paid leave for somebody taking care of a child. But many other countries, we have not reached that. In fact, many of us have not started discussing about it. There are multiple changes that is required. Multiple changes that is required means first would be a change in family structure. Rather than becoming an autonomous individual, we should be able to become the interconnected community which is able to take care of each other. So, individualism and liberalism, everything is good, but still bringing back the family structure, often interconnected people, because together we are strong. And it takes a village to raise a child or to take care of an elderly. So, the family structures must change. With culture, yes, there are many things that should change in our cultures too. We have got to be more gender sensitive. We have got to address the problem of care. We have got to value the care. Someone who is a caregiver is in the unpaid sector, just like Karl Marx have told in his feministic theories. It is most like economic reproduction, or that part is very unaddressed, but that is contributing to the productive labors too. So culturally, we have to bring in changes. As government, yes, there should be organizational policy changes and other policy changes which has to come recognizing care. There should be flexible work times which is given to people, and flexible work times and other issues has to be addressed. Flexible extra leaves, the timing of the office, everything has to be addressed that way. To begin all this, we have to have data. Datas are not available with us. We have to kill the bias which is there in caregiving. We have to identify the bias and plan accordingly. Bias would be that it is mostly seen in the, say, in the communities which are marginalized, or it is mostly put up to the women. So those biases also we will have to address. And one good step which can come to identifying care is the concept. Yeah, this is just to tell you the role of women just don't change in 1840s, and it doesn't change in 2020s. That was me. The same women are doing both things. We are responsible for the care, whether it is 1840s Russia or 1920s 2020s Kerala. So you see, the policy changes, new ethics of care has to be developed through organizational changes, policy changes. And we have to move towards, or we should be considering whether we should move towards universal basic income. Universal basic income is about giving a basic income to all its citizens so that this unpaid job of care is addressed and people are put at an advantage to have the economic freedom to start doing things that they like. We all know that a room for her is one thought which Virginia Woolf had given. She said economic freedom and room for her can make any woman progress better. So if you have to have economic freedom, something like universal basic income has to be introduced. And And of course, we have to do the other changes too. And this is the herd of elephants, which is quite similar to humans. Elephants are supposed to be taking care of their young ones. They are known for their care. Rarely an elephant herd would leave a baby elephant unattended. If they leave, it is very, very remote that the baby elephant would survive. Why? Because the care is in animals too. It is integrated in all of us. And this is one area which is not going to change with automations or with artificial intelligence coming. The role of caregiver is never going to be substituted. It is going to get more and more relevant. So it's time we move forward and start discussing about valuing care and finding a solution to it. It is not definitely going back to the 1950s or 20s. It is going forward. Going forward in the sense, going forward in finding a new solution to it from the East or the West, from the capitalistic or the socialistic societies, or with good dialogues and good changes, we will be able to address this problem of care and value care so that we can all move forward towards a better life on earth.